In this video I'm going to show you how to make simple piano beats, sort of like Juice WRLD, Already Dead, you know, Fire. I can't wait for the album one. Alright, so for this type of beat you want to start off piano melody. You don't really want to start off with chords and a melody, you sort of want to integrate them together. So yeah, that's it. It's basically two chords, so I think it's an A sharp minor and an F sharp major, but then how you make it interesting is by, you know, arpeggiating it and adding notes on top. So what I did for the A sharp minor right here is I arpeggiated out the notes so they play one after another. And then what I did was stack another A sharp an octave above the root note right here, so here, and then one octave above, and strummed it out quite a lot. You can see this melody the whole way through I tried to strum a lot of the notes, so there wasn't really two notes playing exactly at the same time, and it gives it like a really human feel. It sounds kind of human played. I did this little pattern here, just goes down the scale basically, skipping one note, and then I put these two notes on top. That is the main phrase for this piano melody. So it's basically a chord arpeggiated with an octave of the root note above, and then melody going down the scale, and a little bit of more notes up here. And then we're going to move to the second bar, which is the F sharp major chord. So I did the same, it's a bit more simple, less notes. So it's just F sharp major arpeggiated out in the same rhythm, and an A sharp on top, because that's the root of the scale, but also is the middle note of the chord, so it will sound good pitched up an octave above the F sharp. And then go down again, but this time it's halfway through the bar, and just an F on top of the C. And here it's the same chords arpeggiated out, but I changed up the melody a little bit, so I'm gonna break it down like this. So it's the chords, this is one phrase that I made, and then this is another phrase that I put on top of it. Makes the melody have different layers, you know, when you can hear different melodies going in and out. Makes it very interesting to listen to. Yeah, and here it's just repeated, except I have the middle notes of the chords pitched up and on top of everything. I did add some effects, which is just a reverb, 23%. Adding reverb to your pianos definitely helps a lot. It makes them sound very realistic, really. And I also panned it out. The next one I added was like a vocal chop, which I recorded myself. That's what it sounds like with the effects, but with no effects it sounds like this. So the processing is very important to make it sound good, at least for my voice. Yeah, because I can't sing. So I added an EQ just to cut out the low ends, pretty simple stuff. An auto tune, you know, quite fast retune speed, and the note transition. Basically the retune speed is how fast it will lock to a note, and the note transition is if you're quite a bad singer, then you'll be singing in between notes a lot, so this is basically how fast it's gonna choose to swap to a different note. If you're a better singer, then you need to put this higher, but me, I'm quite bad, so I put it low. And then I added a little compressor. If you don't know how to use compression, don't bother using it. It basically just takes off the really like loud part of the sample, and yeah, brings it down. Quite a light ratio, quite fast attack, quite long release, if you know what I'm talking about. Then I added Little Altar Boy. Bro, this plugin is sick. Yeah, I just pitched up the format 12 cents, I think. It doesn't sound like me as much. And then I just added some delay. Quite a lot. Added some reverb and a wave shaper. This is basically like a distortion, I guess. That's what I use it as. It maybe does something else as well, but I'm not really sure. So there we have it. It's about halfway as well. You don't want too much. It just adds a lot of character. And I just added an EQ just to make it more in the background, kind of some highs, removing basically all the lows, and a little bit of the mids just to make it sound a bit more clean and that. It's pretty simple. It's just a lot of plugins that have subtle differences that make a big difference in the end. Here's some ambience. So this is what it sounds like before. What I did was get the melody like this. This is the melody loop. Then I routed it all to one track, added a fruit convolver on our preset blur pink, rendered it out by pressing this and then pressing Alt R, and then you just get this. Yep. And then added some effects, this EQ to cut the lows, and this phaser just to make it sound a bit more phasey, and yeah, just more interesting. With the things, it just fills in a lot of space versus without. This just makes the melody sound more wavy. This is cool, this is a cool melody, but I feel like it needs to progress a little bit more and it'll get kind of boring throughout the beat. So that's how you ruin a good melody, is by, you know, playing it too much. I feel like if it's your favorite part of the beat, favorite whatever you're doing, play it less. But what I did was half time the melody, to have a different section, probably like a verse section. Yeah, and I wrote it to track 8 and just added an EQ and the fruit convolver as well. Turned up the dry signal and moved down the wet signal, so it just makes it a little bit more ambient, but it doesn't completely destroy the whole sound. So the melody altogether will sound like this with the transition. And you can just hear it will work very well just in a different section. Yeah, and then what did I do? I moved to probably to the claps. I just like to put in the claps first because they're kind of like placeholders. Yeah, there's not really much you can do with them. I mean, there is, but at the same time, you know, they really have to hit on the third beat just to, you know, keep that constant rhythm going. It's just a normal clap, hi-hats, normal hi-hats, snare. This just fills in the spaces if you play it with these. And something you'll notice is this is like a 4-step pattern instead of a 2-step. And then I just fiddle with the velocities on the hi-hats. This is my open hat loop and a bongo loop from my upcoming percussion loop kit. And it's very swung and gives quite a human feel to your basic trap drums, so it's pretty cool. Altogether the drums will sound like this. It's hard, you know. Something I did do though was route all the drums apart from the 808 to a mixer channel and added a wave shaper, so distortion, and a reverb. That's why you could hear reverb on them. So without the effects, they sound like this, but with the effects, it sound like this. The drums sound so much more full and warm and nice, you know. So I'd recommend doing that, adding different effects to your drums. If you're enjoying this video, smash like, 1, but 2, check out this video because you'll enjoy it. Safe.